This is a big one, my friends. This is a massive trade that goes down yesterday. And man, did it break Twitter. You hear all the time it broke Twitter. This is a big deal. Matt Olson of the Oakland A's is on the move to Atlanta. Matt Olson, the first baseman, is on the move to the Atlanta Braves. So you hear this trade goes down, and what do you immediately think of? Freddie Freeman. This means the end for Freddie Freeman in Atlanta. Now, I want to talk about Matt Olson first. I want to talk about this trade. The Braves are acquiring a younger, great first baseman. Now, I think Freddie Freeman is one of the top first basemen in baseball. I say one of the first. We'll get to that a little later because I told you I have my top 5 list, and we're doing first baseman and third baseman today. So in just a little while, we're going to see where do I have Freddie Freeman ranked on top first baseman in the league. But now you get Matt Olson, who's 28 years old, an all-star first baseman, 39 home runs last year, 111 RBIs, and the best defensive first baseman in baseball. Hands down, best defensive first baseman. 2-time Gold Glove winner. And this guy is in contention every year for a Gold Glove. So let's talk about this. Now he's signed. And as I talked about off the top of the show, you make this trade and then you lock him up to a long-term deal. Matt Olson signs an 8-year deal with the Oakland A's. So they wrap up their first baseman for years to come. So in the short term, do I think right now that Matt Olson is on the same level as Freddie Freeman? Do I think he is just as good? No, and I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I think he is just a shade behind, and I think he's younger, and now you have him wrapped up for the future. This is a great pickup, and he's a hometown kid. He's from Atlanta. He said in his interview, clearly emotional. I love these interviews after somebody gets traded because it's like, wait, I haven't even had time to process this. I haven't even been able to think about what this means. But he was able to say, if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm glad it's Atlanta. I'm from there. I grew up rooting for them as playing in Braves uniforms growing up as a kid. But he's on the move. But it means Freddie's time has come to an end in Atlanta. And emotions are flying high with this. I mean, that not only is this a change at first base, but Freddie Freeman is an Atlanta Brave, and it seemed like he was going to be that for life. So this is an emotional move, an emotional day for everybody involved, including the GM, Alex Anthopoulos, who ultimately is the one that makes the move and decides on this. So we have his interview afterwards when he was talking about this. Let's check that out.
How many prospects you gave up? Is it anything beyond that, or is it because of?
Yeah, sure, but I can't get into that. So, it's a tough deal.
Alex, at what point in time did you lose confidence that you might get ready?
You keep saying that this is one of the toughest deals that you've had to make. It may be obvious because you keep talking about how many prospects you gave up. Is it anything beyond that, or is it because of?
I mean, you can just see. You can feel the emotion. You can see the emotion. This is tough. It got me to thinking a lot yesterday. Freddie Freeman is one of the greatest Atlanta Braves of all time. Now, he's a little bit older. He's 32, wanting a little longer deal, which he will get. Somebody will pay him, and they will be getting one of the best first basemen in baseball. Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, had to make a decision to move on. And it's tough. And there's a lot of emotions involved in this. There's a lot going on here. There's players moving. Freddie Freeman realizing he's getting moved on from. Prospects are involved. Christian Pache, probably the top prospect in this move, tweeted this out immediately as the trade happened. My heart is broken. I just found out that I was traded to the A's. I know that's the way this business works, but I want Braves fans to know that I will be eternally grateful to them wherever he goes. Thank you for so much support, for so much love, and for being so special to me. I mean, you kind of lose sight as a fan the emotions and what this means to players. I mean, Christian Pache just yesterday or 2 days ago tweeted a picture in the parking lot with Ronald Acuna saying, ready to get back going. And now, just like this, he's uprooted and going across the country to a team he knows nothing about, to a fan base he knows nothing about. It's scary, and you could feel it in his tweets and his emotions. You could feel it. You could sense it. It was an emotional day, especially for Braves fans. And this got me to wondering, like, I love this. We need to talk about this move and what it means for the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves, for as much as Freddie means to them, were able to move on, able to go lock up a younger first baseman for now 8 years and get a stud at that. So it really got me to thinking. And I don't really know the answer to this, but I want you guys to think about this. If you're a fan of the Atlanta Braves or any team, and you have a player like Freddie Freeman, who is a little bit older in his career, and, you know, statistically, after your year 32 season, it starts going downhill. But Freddie Freeman is an Atlanta Brave. I think of, like, Atlanta Braves, I think Freddie Freeman, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones. Like, those are the names that come to mind. John Smoltz. So you have a guy like that. Would you rather your team sign him for the deal that he wants, a little bit longer, which puts him into, like, his year 38 season where you know you're not going to be getting the production, but keeping him an Atlanta Brave for life? But in the long run, you know it's maybe not the best thing for your organization when all is said and done. Or would you rather them go out and make a move like the Atlanta Braves did with Matt Olson, setting themselves up for the future as best as possible? It really is tricky, and that's kind of the emotions that go into this. Do you want your team to keep that guy and be an Atlanta Brave forever, or do you want your team to make another move and to move on from that guy and bring in a player that you're going to keep long-term and have be your first baseman for 8 years to come? I don't know, but those are the emotions that were flying high in this trade yesterday that went down. But Matt Olson is on the move to Atlanta, and Matt Olson locks up that long-term deal for his hometown team. But we were not done yesterday. The Seattle Mariners and the Cincinnati Reds had a big blockbuster trade, sending Jesse Winker and Eugenio Suarez to the Mariners. This shocked me. I didn't even know the Mariners were looking for an outfielder. I saw that this happened, and I was like, oh my God, who are they giving up? I mean, what are they going to do? You have a bunch of guys in the outfield that I feel like are going to be pieces in that outfield for a long time to come. Jared Kelenic, Julio Rodriguez is on the way. You have Kyle Lewis, you have Taylor Trammell, you have a bunch of guys that it's like they have to be getting rid of one of them. One of them is on the move. They weren't. So the Cincinnati Reds are just here with an absolute fire sale. The Reds said, I hear you. Hey, look, I saw in the new CBA that there's going to be a draft lottery, and the team that finishes dead last doesn't necessarily get the first overall pick. So, you know, we're not guaranteed a great draft pick. Well, it turns out they don't care. They're just fire sailing everybody. Jesse Winker, an all-star. Eugenio Suarez, a former all-star as well, who, might I add, I feel like we're not talking about him enough in this deal. This deal is about Jesse Winker and getting an all-star and plugging him in that outfield, and a guy that just absolutely rakes. But Suarez, coming off a very tough year, in September was one of the best hitters in baseball. And he has the potential to hit 40 home runs in a year. He's been an all-star. He can be a good piece. Maybe he just struggled, and maybe he needs a change of scenery. But he's getting it. What a huge deal for this Mariners team. This AL West is going to be great. Astros, Angels are going to be better. Mariners are going to be good. The Rangers are at least going to be better. This division is going to be really good, and the Mariners have put themselves in a position where I believe they could break the drought. and get into the playoffs. You know why? Because they're great and they have fun. Here's my shirt. Fun differential. Seattle baseball. This became a thing last year. The fun differential, baby. That team has fun. That team is fun to watch. So yeah, I heard you last year saying, well, yeah, they're like on the edge of the playoffs, but their run differential is not good. Like they've gotten really lucky to be here. Well, I'll tell you what, they have fun more than anybody else, and this year they're going to score more runs than a lot of other people. They're going to be a really good team. Let's not forget they added Robbie Ray earlier this offseason, coming off of a Cy Young Award, a friend of the show. I mean, this team is doing it right. I love what they have done. I love what they've been able to do. Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.